After years of LEGO games playing it safe, TT Games finally asked a dangerous question. What if a LEGO Batman game actually tried to become Arkham? And somehow, it works. This is LEGO Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight, a game that takes the goofy charm of classic LEGO adventures and smashes it together with the darker tone, combat, and detective elements of the Arkham series. The result is easily the most ambitious LEGO game in years, and maybe the best Batman game we've gotten since Arkham Knight. But does this brick-built Gotham actually live up to the legacy of the Dark Knight? Today, we're diving into the story, gameplay, open world, combat, graphics, performance, fan service, and whether this game is worth your time. So grab your cape, prep the Batmobile, and let's head into Gotham. One of the biggest surprises in Legacy of the Dark Knight is just how ambitious the story is. Instead of adapting one specific Batman movie or comic, TT Games basically created a giant celebration of Batman's entire history. The game pulls inspiration from Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, Tim Burton's 1989 Batman,
Get nuts? Let's get nuts.
modern comics, animated series lore, and even elements that feel directly inspired by the Arkham games. What's impressive is that it somehow blends all of those influences into a story that still feels coherent. You start with Bruce Wayne training with the League of Shadows before gradually becoming Gotham's protector. Along the way, Batman builds alliances with characters like Jim Gordon, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Catwoman while taking on villains including Joker, Penguin, Bane, Poison Ivy, and Mr. Freeze. The tone is honestly fascinating. This game still has the classic LEGO humor. Characters exploding into bricks, ridiculous slapstick moments, visual gags everywhere. But there's also a surprisingly serious emotional backbone underneath it. And unlike older LEGO games that relied heavily on silent comedy, this one actually invests in cinematic storytelling. Some scenes genuinely feel epic. There are moments where the game recreates iconic Batman imagery in LEGO form, and if you're a longtime Batman fan, you'll constantly be spotting references. It's basically Batman fan service injected directly into your bloodstream. Now let's talk about the biggest change in the entire game, combat. Because this is where TT Games clearly looked at the Arkham series and said, yeah, we want some of that. Combat now revolves around combo chains, counters, aerial attacks, gadgets, and takedowns. And honestly, it feels way better than traditional LEGO combat ever has. Older LEGO games often devolved into button-mashing chaos, but Legacy of the Dark Knight actually wants you to engage with the systems. Batman can glide into enemies, chain together gadget attacks, use stealth takedowns, and transition smoothly between melee combat and detective gameplay. There's even a dedicated Dark Knight mode difficulty for players who want a bigger challenge. Is it as deep as Arkham City? No, but for a LEGO game, this is a massive evolution. The detective mechanics are another huge improvement. You'll scan crime scenes, analyze clues, reconstruct events, and solve environmental puzzles. And thankfully, puzzles are smarter this time around. TT Games finally moved away from overly repetitive build object, pull lever gameplay loops. There's still plenty of classic LEGO puzzle solving, but now it's layered with traversal mechanics, detective systems, and character abilities. Then there's Gotham City itself. And wow, this might genuinely be the best open world TT Games has ever made. Instead of feeling like a giant empty playground filled with collectibles, Gotham actually feels alive. Crimes break out dynamically. Villains appear across districts. Citizens react to Batman. And the city absolutely nails that dark Gothic atmosphere while still keeping the colorful LEGO aesthetic intact. You can grapple across rooftops, glide through the skyline, drive iconic Batmobiles, and explore locations like Arkham Asylum, Ace Chemicals, and Wayne Tower. Traversal is honestly addictive. Gliding across Gotham at night while the music swells in the background feels incredible. And yes, the Batmobile finally feels good to drive in a LEGO game. That alone deserves applause. One thing this game absolutely understands is Batman history. This isn't just a Batman game. It's a Batman museum. Everywhere you look, there are references to comics, movies, animated shows, memes, obscure villains, and iconic moments from across decades of Batman storytelling. The roster is smaller than some previous LEGO games, but the characters are more distinct mechanically. Batman focuses on gadgets and stealth. Robin has agility-based gameplay. Nightwing is more combo-oriented. Batgirl emphasizes tech skills. Catwoman has unique traversal abilities. And because each character actually plays differently, swapping between them feels meaningful instead of cosmetic. Also, the unlockables are insane. Classic suits, Batmobiles, Batcave customization, alternate skins. There's enough content here to completely consume completionists for dozens of hours. Visually, this is easily the most cinematic LEGO game ever made. TT Games clearly wanted Gotham to feel atmospheric and dramatic, and the lighting system does a ton of heavy lifting here. Rain-soaked streets, neon reflections, massive Gothic architecture, fog drifting through alleyways. It honestly looks fantastic at times. And because the game uses Unreal Engine 5, environments are far more detailed than previous LEGO titles. Character animations are also dramatically improved. Combat flows better, cutscenes feel more expressive, and the transitions between gameplay and cinematics are incredibly smooth. The soundtrack deserves praise too. It mixes orchestral Batman themes with playful LEGO energy in a way that somehow shouldn't work, but absolutely does. Now, unfortunately, the game isn't perfect. There are definitely some technical issues. I ran into occasional frame drops, weird AI behavior, and a few bugs involving physics and mission triggers. Multiple reviewers have also mentioned performance hiccups and technical rough edges. Combat can become repetitive during longer sessions, especially when fighting large groups repeatedly. Some upgrades feel underwhelming. And while the open world is excellent overall, certain side activities start to blur together after a while. The biggest disappointment for some players will probably be the lack of online co-op. You still get local couch co-op, which is fun, but no online multiplayer feels like a missed opportunity in 2026. But even with those flaws, LEGO Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight is something special. This is TT Games evolving the LEGO formula instead of recycling it. It successfully combines LEGO humor, Batman mythology, Arkham-inspired gameplay, open-world exploration, and surprisingly cinematic storytelling into one giant love letter to the Dark Knight. And honestly, it's the closest thing we've gotten to a new Arkham-style experience in years. If you're a Batman fan, this game feels mandatory. If you grew up with LEGO games, this feels like the series finally growing up with its audience. And if TT Games continues building on this foundation, the future of LEGO games suddenly looks very exciting. I'd give LEGO Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight an 8.5 out of 10. An ambitious, stylish, surprisingly deep Batman adventure that proves LEGO games still have plenty of life left in them. So what do you think about LEGO Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight? Is this the LEGO comeback we've been waiting for? Or do you still prefer the classic LEGO formula? Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more gaming reviews, deep dives, and everything gaming. Thanks for watching.
Dance a little too well for a cop. Suspicious. Now there's a cop who knows how to be on the beat.